Central Park and not fueling the plane. But Marcus Spears, do the Cowboys have a shot at the NFC East? What do you think?
I say yes, but with a lot of apprehension, and it has nothing to do with the Cowboys. We obviously know that they need to win out in order to even be in this conversation, but it's just Philly. It's where they are right now. And look, there were some good things that came out of that game for Philly. Obviously, the turnovers, and everybody is going to talk about that. We saw some explosive runs from Saquon Barkley, some unfortunate plays, the A.J. Brown drop in the end zone. They make that play all the time. So, look, I don't think Philly is going to finish the season with no wins. And coincidentally, I think they win this division. But based on what we've been seeing right now with the Philadelphia Eagles, whether they can get this ship right or not, is going to determine where the Cowboys sit towards the end of the season. So Jerry is not completely off his skis. And the Cowboys winning 2 of those 3 games, obviously losing the game to the Lions, hurt them a tremendous amount. But ultimately, you may be a byproduct of what other teams do. And that's where they sit right now. So it'll be interesting to see down the stretch. I think Philly got a chance to win out. Obviously, when it comes to saying that about this team after what we've seen for some weeks, it may not be possible. But I think Philly is going to turn on and win the rest of these games out. If they don't, the Cowboys will be sitting there.
Well, here's the deal. Here's the reality. Jerry Jones opened his mouth and said what he said because of the Eagles, not because of the Cowboys. He's saying, Look at them. Look at this team. Look at them right now. You're damn right we got a chance because we don't know if they're going to win another game. That's what he's talking about. Without saying the Eagles, he's basically indicting the Eagles because it's not just about us, the Cowboys being a game and a half out, needing to win their games. It's about noticing what you're seeing from the division leaders. They don't look like a division leader.
Yes.
Not only are they on a 3-game losing streak, guys, they have the worst rushing defense in the National Football League over the last 3 games. The Philadelphia Eagles over the last 3 games have been doubled up in rushing. They've given up 575 yards rushing in the last 3 games. Think about that for a second. 575 yards, and they've gained 284 yards. And that was because of the 122 by Saquon Barkley on Monday night. They have been horrendous with their rush defense over this 3-game stretch. So if I'm Jerry Jones, we've got Philadelphia radio and people like that calling out the quarterback. You got A.J. Brown, who's been playing like a stud for the most part. He alligator arms for that interception. He's got to be held accountable for that. Alligator arms for that interception and that pass, which was a perfect pass by Jalen Hurts to him in the left corner of the end zone. I understand his arm was being tugged on by Cam Hart, but the bottom line is that is a play that A.J. Brown usually makes because that's why we call him a man amongst boys. Go back to the highlights against the L.A. Rams where he just shoving defenders off of him like they're paper, for crying out loud. This is what he was doing. But somehow, some way, you don't catch that pass. That's not good enough, especially when you open your mouth. And I got nothing but love for A.J. Brown, but you got to make those plays. You got to make those plays, okay? But with that being said, he still has like 24 receptions, 35 attempts. He's been balling over the last 3 games or so, been one of the top 2 receivers in the NFL statistically, and they've lost all 3 games. So Jerry Jones is sitting there saying, got a wide receiver that was complaining. Now you're getting him the ball, but you're still losing. You can't defend against the run. You lost 3 straight games. We were one of the teams that beat you, by the way, after we spotted you 21 points. You're damn right he's thinking they got a chance because he's looking at a reigning defending Super Bowl champion that looks like anything but. That's why Jerry Jones said what he said, and he's right.
You were banking right now on a complete and utter meltdown from the Philadelphia Eagles. 3 straight losses, yes. But the 3 teams that they have left, or the 3 games that they have left, are against inferior opponents. They have the Raiders this weekend. If they lose to the Raiders
at home
in Week 15, well, you better believe we're going to be talking about the Cowboys having a little bit more percentage chance than whatever the graphic tells us. Look, the vibes in Philadelphia right now are horrendous. They just got done with Nick Sirianni's weekly press conference, and they asked him if Jalen Hurts has been considered to be benched. This is where we're at right now. And guess what? Not every media market is the same way.
What?
you could say, well, that's ridiculous. And we're sitting here in New York, and I've got this nice tie and jacket on, and I can speak here in this air. It's different in Philly. It is a cauldron in Philly right now. And we're talking about local media, the fans. Jalen Hurts threw 4 interceptions and fumbled on Monday. They're not thinking about him hoisting the Lombardi Trophy in that media market. It's a different beast. Stephen A., you know it better than anybody. All those years spent covering Philly sports, it is not the same as it is in Indianapolis or in Arizona or a Jacksonville.
Not at all.
And that can affect players. It can affect coaches. 2023, I was covering the NFL for a different network. They sent me down to Philadelphia. They said, hey, the Eagles are in a tailspin. They host an awful Cardinals team. An awful Cardinals team in Week 15. Go cover that game. 12-point underdogs. The Cardinals walked in to Philadelphia amidst boo birds everywhere, and they beat the Eagles that day. I am not putting it out of the realm of possibility that this awful Raiders team finds one reason to galvanize after another and feeds off the booing fans if things don't go early, and the Raiders can find a way on Sunday.
Who even is the backup in Philadelphia? Is it Sam Howell?
Tanner McKee is his name.
And
he is the most popular person in Philadelphia sports this week. Because that is how
Can I
that
chime in
thing
for a
is.
second? Before Swagoo, before you start, Swagoo, let me give you all some insight into Philadelphia. They know good and damn well. They know good and damn well Jalen Hurts ain't getting benched. That's not what it is. Let me stop you right there before you even start, Swagoo.
All right.
They know better. It's not. That's not what they're thinking. What they're thinking is something to light a fire under Jalen Hurts, because if you really, really look at his career, the best of Jalen Hurts has come under the most adverse of circumstances. Mm-hmm. The Super Bowls are an adverse circumstance. Going against Patrick Mahomes is an adverse circumstance. Being at Alabama, an adverse circumstance. Going to Oklahoma, having to transfer when you get benched in the...
This is Cowboys Nation Report, delivering the insight, urgency, and perspective that defines one of the most informed fan bases in football. And today, the conversation across the NFL shifted again. What happened on ESPN's First Take was more than just analysis. It was an admission, a recognition. A moment where the national media finally acknowledged that the Philadelphia Eagles are no longer the team they were billed to be, and the Dallas Cowboys now stand in position to take advantage of a division that suddenly looks unstable. Jerry Jones said it plainly. While flying into New York, watching the Eagles lose their 3rd straight game, he didn't need fuel to get there. He rode the momentum of opportunity. His message was simple. Every play matters now, and Dallas has a shot at this thing. And the more you study this collapse in Philadelphia, the clearer that statement becomes. First Take revealed numbers that tell a story far deeper than wins and losses. The Eagles have surrendered 575 rushing yards in their last 3 games. That's not a bad stretch. That's structural failure. A defense that was once feared is now giving up double the ground production they produce. And while Saquon Barkley delivered a strong performance on Monday night, Philadelphia's inability to stop the run was exposed again, revealing a vulnerability teams are now actively targeting. Meanwhile, the offense is experiencing its own crisis. A.J. Brown, despite putting up strong numbers, dropped a touchdown he almost always secures, the kind of drop that signals a team pressing under pressure. And Jalen Hurts, the central figure in this unraveling, is now under scrutiny not just nationally, but inside his own city. When your local media begins asking the head coach whether the starting quarterback is being considered for the bench, that is not football analysis, that is desperation. But this is where Cowboys Nation must focus. This is no longer about Dallas chasing Philadelphia. This is about Philadelphia losing control of their own identity. The pressure, the criticism, the frustration, they're all compounding. And in the NFL, emotional instability often leads to on-field mistakes. First Take reminded the country that if the Eagles drop one more game, especially to a struggling Raiders team, the NFC East becomes a brand new race overnight. Dallas, despite setbacks, remains one of the most prepared teams to capitalize on this shift. The Cowboys know they must win out. They know the margin of error is small, but they also know that the leading division is showing cracks everywhere, from locker room tension to execution failures to defensive collapse. And where instability rises, opportunity follows. This is the moment where great organizations stay disciplined, focused, and ready. The Cowboys don't need Philly to collapse, they just need to be prepared when the door swings open. And according to Jerry Jones, that door is already moving. Cowboys Nation, what do you think? Has the momentum truly shifted? Are the Eagles unraveling at the perfect time for Dallas to rise back into the division race? Drop your thoughts below. Hit like and subscribe to Cowboys Nation Report. The season isn't over. In fact, the real story may be just beginning.